Welcome back. With the devastating earthquake in Haiti, our top story this morning, we have a look back at an ABC News program about what could happen around San Francisco if the big one ever strikes.
It was first aired in the wake of Hurricane Katrina, and as you'll see, it includes dramatizations. From the ABC News Vault, here's John Quinones.
A bright morning in this gleaming city by the bay. It starts with a tremor, and then the violent shaking begins for more than a minute. It feels like an eternity.
Bridges down, Bay Bridge, Golden Gate Bridge, all of those.
We're likely to have a lot of fires. The ports of the Bay Area may liquefy and fail.
Landlines, cell phone towers will be completely out, and massive building damage.
Another major earthquake right in the core of the Bay Area will be a disaster on the same scale as Katrina, perhaps larger.
In a massive quake, there's no time to evacuate. An estimated 10,000 people could die. Gas lines would erupt and fires would break out, but there'd be no way to fight them because water lines would also rupture. It's happened before.
The 1989 World Series,
October 1989, the World Series is just getting underway.
I'm Al Michaels.
Sportscaster Al Michaels is in mid-sentence when the earth begins to rumble.
And he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an earthquake.
A 7-magnitude tremor has hit 60 miles south of the city.
This is a section of the freeway in the East Bay near Oakland.
4,000 injured, 63 dead. Part of a freeway collapses. $6 billion in property damage.
Prepare yourselves! Shut off the gas! Shut off electricity!
All around the city, fires erupted from buildings now tossed together like matchsticks. They were built on unstable landfill and shifts during an earthquake. What happened behind you?
Unfortunately, this building across the street here collapsed due to the shaking and then caught on fire. So that's a brand new structure there.
Seismologist Mary Lou Zobak says many of the same problems exist today.
Most of the building stock in San Francisco, particularly the residential housing, was built prior to the 1960s, something like 75% of it.
Not up to
modern standards and likely to be severely damaged or destroyed.
Scary thought.
Very scary.
Scary because the experts say, of all places, San Francisco should have learned from its past, should have strengthened its buildings and highways, should have had better plans in place more quickly.
I'm not thinking just outside the box. We're blowing up the box here in San Francisco.
Mayor Gavin Newsom says Hurricane Katrina galvanized the way he thinks about future disasters in his own city, though he admits he isn't fully prepared.
You said it yourself last week, we are not where we need to be.
No, and we'll never be.
After so many years of dire predictions, why aren't you?
Well, I'll tell you, the last 4 or 5 years, we frankly, a lot of us got an eye off the ball and focused almost exclusively on man-made disasters and homeland security. We've got a lot of work to do in this country on that, but we also got to get back to the basics. And that means looking at Mother Nature, be it tornadoes and hurricanes, obviously to the issues of earthquakes. We have not had the big one here in San Francisco.
Like the Bay Area, much of the rest of the country is now waking up to the threat of natural disasters. Beyond California, the landscape is laced with earthquake faults in Utah, South Carolina, and the new Madrid fault near Memphis and St. Louis. And if you thought the levees in New Orleans were an isolated problem, just outside San Francisco, there's an entire network of levees where a quake could wreak havoc.
I'm walking on a levee right on top of a fault line, just a few miles from the San Francisco Bay. In the event of a major earthquake, many of these levees, already in serious disrepair, would break, flooding vast areas of that delta. And worse yet, salt water from the bay would then contaminate vital fresh water, the drinking water for some 20 million Californians, all the way down to Los Angeles and San Diego. It could be a crippling catastrophe.
And yet, a third of all Californians say they're not prepared for an earthquake.
The one thing we're trying to communicate in San Francisco is a sad reality, and I don't think I should be the one saying it because I don't feel comfortable saying it, but you're on your own. You know, the federal government's not going to come in and save the day within 24 minutes, let alone 24 hours. If we have an 8.2, 8.3 earthquake in San Francisco, people are going to need to be prepared for a minimum of 72 hours on their own.
And the full magnitude of this destruction in Haiti and the